I have a question that I would like to ask you today. Just because you can do it, does that mean that you should do it? Just because you're allowed to do it, does that mean that you should do it? And somebody may say, what do you mean? As I was reading over 1 Corinthians chapter 6, when you get a chance, go back and read over it for yourself. But I'm just going to hit two verses. We're going to look at verse 12 and verse 13. And I thought it was interesting because Paul was talking to some of the Christians in Corinth about avoiding sexual sin. Because some of them seemed to think that because the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ died for their sins, that they could still do what they wanted to do with their bodies and it was okay. And that very well may be you on today. Or you just may be one of those people who feel like, hey, Christ died for my sins. I can still do what I want and do what I please. You may very well be one of those people who feel like because you can do it, you just do it. And I think a lot of us are guilty of that. Just because we can do it, we just do it. I'm going to read what Paul said. I'm going to start with verse 12. And I want you to think about the words they're saying and how it may apply to you. And it says, you say I'm allowed to do anything. You say I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you. Not everything is good for you. And even though I'm allowed to do anything, I must not become a slave to anything. 13. You say food was made for the stomach and the stomach for food. But you can't say that our bodies were made for sexual immorality. It was made for the Lord, and the Lord cares about our bodies. I want you to think about that. When you get a chance, go back into it, dive a little bit more into it, but I'm going to hit on those verses. Just because we can do it, should we do it? And a lot of us, and I can raise my hand, I know I'm guilty of it. Just because we can do it, are you doing it? Are you one of those people that say, guess what? It may be wrong, but because I can do it, I'm going to do it. Because I got free will to do it, I can do it. See, I want you to think about that foul mouth you got. You could have been a cusser just like me. Do you cuss? You may be a cusser now. Do you let anything come out your mouth just because you can do it? I want you to think about it now. Doesn't mean that it's right, but because you can do it, you just do it. Are you one of those people that you just don't care what you say? You don't mind about hurting people's feelings. You don't mind about cutting people down because you only do it because guess what? You know that you can do it, but should you do it? You cuss people out because you can do it, but should you do it? You cuss out your kids because you can do it, but should you do it? Some of us got to get this stuff and look at it for what it's worth right in front of our face. It's a lot of stuff that we do. But just because some of this stuff that we can do and we won't get put in jail for doing it, should we do it? I want you to think about it now. Just because you can cheat on your spouse, should you cheat on your spouse? Just because you can have multiple men and women every night, should you? Just because you can take advantage of somebody, should you? Just because you know you can get over on a certain person, or just because you know you can get over on people, should you? I want you to think about it now. Just because you can fight, should you fight? Just because you know you can have a bad attitude, should you walk around with a bad attitude? Just because you can cheat on your taxes, do that mean you should cheat on your taxes? Just because you can have an abortion, should you have an abortion? Just because you can have as how many babies that you want with many different women and many different men, should you? I want you to think about it now. Just because you can do it, should you do it? Just because you can get drunk every night, should you? Just because you can sit up there at the casino all night, should you? Just because you can smoke marijuana all day and night, should you? And that's the question you got to be real with yourself. Should you be doing it? Just because the laws have been made where if you a woman, you can marry another woman, and you a man, you can marry another man, should you? Just because the law's been passed that say if you a woman, you can be a man, and you a man, you can be a woman, should you? It's some things that we got to get in the front of that mirror and say, should we be doing it? I know I'm allowed to do it, but should I be doing it? What is it in your life that you already know the Lord been dealing with you about? And the Lord gives us free will. He don't make us not do anything. But you know it's things in your life the Lord been dealing with you with that you shouldn't be doing it. But a lot of us, we do it. Why? Because we can do it. We stay out all night because we can do it. We mistreat our spouse because we can do it. We're a selfish person because we can do it. We a mean person because we can do it. We just mistreat people and do certain people a certain way because we can do it. And could that very well be you? Or are you just doing something because you can do it? Do you just sit up there and watch pornography all day because you can do it? Do you just have these big orgy parties and go to these big orgy parties because you can do it? What is it in your life that you doing that you know you shouldn't be doing, but you do it because you say, hey, I can do it? Do you still walk around and dress half naked just because you say, I can do it? Do you sell your body because you say, I can do it? Are you messing around with that other woman's husband because you say, hey, I can do it? Are you taking money from that job because you say, it's easy, I can do it? What is it on today? And you heard the words that Paul was saying. Just because we can do it, should we be doing it? And some of us is not going to stop doing those things until we have a true encounter with Christ for him to help us to stop doing the things that we're not supposed to be doing. Because the last thing, though, that we want is for our eyes to close and we still was doing anything that we wanted to do. You don't want your eyes to close and you still was doing things your way and not Christ's way. What is it that you truly need to seek the Lord about and say, Lord, I know I'm allowed to do it, but I don't need to do it. I don't need to cuss anymore. I don't need to walk around half naked anymore. I need to stop going the same places that I used to go. I don't need to do it anymore. I know the way that I'm living is wrong. I don't need to do it anymore. Just because you can hate somebody doesn't mean you truly need to hate somebody. You got to think about it and you got to be real with yourself. Are you doing it just because you know you can do it? Is that why you're doing it? And we all got to come to the Lord. Just like a whole lot of that stuff I had to submit to the Lord. And the Lord had to get that mess up out of me. Because a lot of stuff I was doing because I knew I could do it. Should I be doing it? Should I be doing it? No, I shouldn't have been doing it. But I did it because I could do it and I was on my way to hell. And I think that's the main thing a lot of people don't think about. Just because we got the strength in our body to do it, don't mean that we should do it. Just because I can sleep with whoever I want to sleep with, don't mean I should have been doing it. Just because I could go where I want to go, doesn't mean I should have been doing it. Just because I could watch or listen to whatever I want to listen to, doesn't mean that I should, because I shouldn't have been doing it. What is it in your life that you know and you need to cry out to the Lord and say, Lord, I can't do this anymore. I don't need to do this anymore. We don't want nothing blocking us from getting into the gate, and we need to do it now because later it may be too late. What is it that you keep putting off saying, I know I don't need to do it, but I keep on doing it? And maybe you're one of them people who keep thinking that you got time and that one day you will stop doing it. But what happens when time run out? We have to go to the Lord and just say, Lord, help me. Because some of us are very well and very mindful of the things that we doing that we know we don't need to do. Some people just do stuff because they know they can do it. Some people out there stealing because they know they can do it. Somebody out there molesting somebody because they know they can do it. They raping people out there because they know they can do it. But what if your eyes closed? It's time for us to go and seek the Lord and say, Lord, I need help. Because just because I can do these things, I don't need to do it. Just because I know I can mistreat people, just because I know I can get over on somebody, Lord, I need to stop doing it. I need to stop doing it. You may not be out there killing nobody and stealing and doing that other stuff, but what about other areas in your life that you know you need to work on and you know you need to get it right before it's too late? So let's go before the Lord. If you need help, say, Lord, help me. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do nothing by yourself but fail. But it's some things that we got to be real about and say, I'm doing it just because I know I can do it, but I don't need to do it. And we better hurry up and get this stuff right before time run out. Let's go to the Lord. Let's seek the Lord. Let's cry out to the Lord so we can know when our eyes close, we will be in great standings with the Lord. So I always remember my closing. Self-examination is the best examination. And Jesus Christ is Lord, and he's all we have. Have a great rest of the day.